Hi, welcome you back to another video. Yeah, in today's video, we will be working on um our tutors. So let's take this thing. Okay. Um, in today's video, we'll be working on our tutor, and as you can see, we on our last video we did not sum our tutor. The reason is because of we ran out of time, and you know I I don't want to take that video more than 1 hour, but it exceeded 1 hour 20 something minutes. So I had to stop that video. That's the last video. So in today's video, we are going to be summing the total, and also we are going to be working on our button that whenever we click on this button, it should take us to the in cards. Yes, even when we refresh our page, it will still um stay in cards. So please, if you're watching my video for the first time, please kindly subscribe to my channel when you're seeing it on YouTube and on Facebook. Please kindly share, subscribe, and like. Yes. The reason why I want you to share my video is because um, so many people are looking for such videos, and I make the web very, very simple so that even if you're new in web application, you'll be able to catch up with what we are doing here. So please share my videos, and I promise to always give you good videos. Um, yeah. So let's jump into today's tutorial. Just as I told you, we are going to be summing these things because you wouldn't want your user to start summing it themselves, because it doesn't look nice that way, and this also we need to make sure it's always in fact so that it will restrict the user from sending these things to our backend multiple times. So that's what we are going to be doing today. So let's jump into it. First of all, let's from this thing. I will go to where we have the cat.js, then to sum everything here. And there's something I want to do. I want to clear this whole thing because the component is looking so nasty, it's not looking neat. So I want to create a component for each. So I'm gonna create the component right now, and then I'll call it I'll call it the header component. I'll say header.js, header header.js. I'll save it rfce. Let's see if it will come up. Okay. So now we have this component, the header component. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to import it inside of our parent div, which is the cat.js as a import header header from header HEE. So we have it here imported inside of our cat.js. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to copy all these things to to our header And I'm going to copy them and put it here. I'm going to remove this. Okay. So now I have the header. Let me save it. Then I'll come here to initialize it. I'll say header. HEADR. So now I have the header here. Once I save it, let's see the outcome. Let's see. You see, we have the image price, quantity, delete, and total. So what we are going to do now, we are going to take these things also. We're going to take them. So I will create a component for them also. I'll say, what name should I call it? I think I need to call it the image and the image. The JS. So now I have the header image.js file. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna FCE. See? So I have it right inside of I need to import it. I'll say import to import header image, image. So what I need to do now, I need to take these things away. Let's see. I need to take it from here down to this point. So I'll copy it then. I'm sorry. Let me see. I don't know. This is where I'm supposed to take it from. So copy and I'm going to put it here inside of our header image. Okay, oops. So what else do I need to do? I need to also make sure our header comes here. And that's one good thing about the React DNS. The React gives opportunity to put a component inside of the parent component. So that's what we are doing here. So I'll say the image and I close it. So what else am I going to do? I'm going to copy these things from the decrease. Yeah. So I'll remove this from here and I'll put it here. So I have all these things. And once I save it, I will get a big fat error. Let me save it so I can show you what the error is. So I'll save it and I'll also save this. So let's see our error. It's compiling. So now our error here is saying Asius is not defined. So what I will do here, I will come to my card, then I'll copy my Asius here, copying it. I'll copy the Asius, then I'll put it here. The other one saying item, but yes, the reason why I saved it is because I want you to get that. But first of all, let's copy the delete button. Let's take it. In fact, we're not going to use it anywhere inside of this cat JS. So what we are going to do, we are going to copy these things and remove it entirely from our cat.js. So I'll come here and it's been imported here inside of our in that image. So once I save it, listen to what it's going to tell me or see what this error will say. It's compiling. So it's saying item but is not defined. Yes, it's not defined, but we initially defined it here inside of our cat.js. But since we have taken these things to their respective um components. So that's to define it. So how are we going to define it? Yes, this is where the brain comes in. I told you in JavaScript, you can manipulate. Yes, that's one thing I love about the JavaScript. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to store these things into the local storage. Yes, you can also store it in the section storage. In fact, it's better you store it in the section storage when you are, doing application like the e-commerce application, because whenever your user finish with the application, some might not even remember to log out. So whenever they're through with the whatever they buys from your application, some of them will go. So in section storage, it gives it gives the user that leverage to go out, and whenever the user comes in back to buy or purchase whatever she wants to buy again in the application, the whole thing will wipe off. That's why you need a section storage. Why the local storage? Well, the local storage will be there. Uh, yeah, will be there for as long as you want, unless you want to say, okay, I want it in so time, she wipe off. But the local storage also stores information about whatever he or she buys also. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to use the local storage, because I don't want, the reason why I don't want to use the section storage, because I'm still working on this application. So I want to use the local storage so that I will still, have that period when doing this tutorial. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this. I'm going to set the local storage. I'll say set, no, sorry, I'll say local storage dot set item. So let's give it a key. I'll call the key data storage, data underscore storage. And remember, we are picking these things from our back end. So I'll say response the data. Oh, I spelled my response wrong. RESPONSE, response with data. So now we have these things stored inside of our local storage. Once I save it, I will still have the big fat error, because I still haven't defined this my item but. So once I save it, I just want to show you something. Once I save it, it's compiling, it's good. So once I save it, let me come here. I'll get it here. It's, I think the reason is because I am having errors. So okay, let me come to my header. Come in, just hold on a minute. I want to show you something. Let me remove all this. I'll see. Let's see. So let me see it. Then the old error will go off. I just want to show you something. So let me come to where I have the data storage. See, now we now have the data storage. Forget about this. We are coming for this later. So now I have my data storage. As you can see, we have three objects inside of our array. So as you can see, 1, 2, and 3. So we have 3 objects. So we can't even understand what this is, and we don't even know the IDs, the names of the objects that we have inside. So what we are going to do, we are going to make it a JSON format so that we will be able to get this uh, information about the products that we are buying. So what I'm going to do, because I want to make it a JSON format, I'll come to this place. Let me copy and I'll say JSON that's stringify, and let's see how the thing looks like right now. So now once I go back to my, you know, um, where I have these things, you now see now we have three objects, and these are the informations about the products. That's the We have the item ID, we have the photo, we have the price, we have the name. That's the product name, which is broccoli. We have the total, which is $4,500. So now, what are we going to do next? Let's go back to where we have the header image. I'll go back to the way it was. So now we have the things. So what am I going to do next? Even if I save this thing, it will still give me the big fat error. So what am I going to do now? I will come here to get these things that we have from our local storage. So I'll say, um, let me give it a variable of data of sequence local storage dot. Now we are getting this item. If you can remember, the name of the key is, let me see, we call it data storage. Let me copy it and paste it here and say local storage. It's been okay. Let me remove one. So I have a local storage dot data underscore storage. So now because I have made it a JSON format, even if I have this data and I try to define it as the data, it will give me a big fat error because we already have it as a JSON format. So I'm going to parse it so that I will be able to get that format. So what I'm going to do, I will still give it a variable. I'll call it, okay, let's say my data. You can name it whatever you want. So I'll say my data JSON format dot parse. I see parse. Then what is it that we want? I call it data. So now I'm going to define it as my data. So I'll come here, then define it here. Let's see. Yeah. So now I have carefully and peacefully defined it. So let's save it and see. Let's save it and see. You see, I don't have errors inside of our code. So let me see the outcome. You see now it's just as the way we, we saw it initially when we started this tutorial. So now we are good. Now we are free from Uncle George coding everywhere he likes. So now we are free from this cat.js. You see, our page is now very, very clean. It's neat, or is looking neater right now. So what are we going to do now? Our next the next thing we are going to do now is to sum this total. So how we're going to store this how we're going to sum this total. Normally, I can also write the code here. But since we are trying to make sure this page looks very neater, or very, sorry, is neater the right word to use, or very neat. So we got to create another component for it. So I'll come here to what name should I call this thing right now? I'll call it cat store. I think cat, you can call it whatever that you want to use as a cat store. .js, .js. So now we have the cat total.js, and what am I going to do again? I'm going to import it just as the way we've been importing these guys. So I'll say import, we call it cat total, COTL, so now from um sorry, cat total, yeah. Why is it not coming up, man? Okay, it's has popped up. So I'll come down to this place and I'll call it sorry, I'll call it cat cat tour. Yeah. So now we have imported our cat tour. So what we need to do now is to start, writing our code. So if you can remember, we have anything RFCE, RFCE. Why is it not coming up, man? So now we have this cat total, the component called cat total. So now we need to write our code. We need to sum the totals inside of our applications and some application rather. So what else am I going to do right now? What I'm going to do right now, remember we have it already inside of our header. Instead of me to keep typing for God knows when. So I don't want to type any longer. All I need to do is just to copy these things and I'll paste it here inside of our cat total. Remember we have it inside of our local storage. So I have it here. And what I'm going to do now is to map it out. I'll say map my data, get map. Um, Let me call it value, or I should just say map value. Value. You can name it whatever you want. I'm only giving these names because I want you to remember these things even without going through the video on and on and on. Every time you try to remember something, you go back to the video. But that's why I'm trying to give names that are similar or that will ring as a bell to your memory. So, and one thing again, if anybody tells you that you can do research or you can go back to your videos or you can go back to whatever you do, that person is just telling you lies, man. In programming, you don't put everything inside your head. You still need to do research on things. There are some things you want to do and it won't come out well. So you have to go back to maybe your past videos, or you need to go and do some research and get whatever you want. So don't make anybody tell you that. I've seen so many people like that. They will tell you, I did this and I forgot. Yeah, I mean, you can forget, but you can still go back. Yeah, that's the way to learn, man. So let's go back. So firstly, what I want to do, I want to check if our total is in string. Because if I'm gonna add up these things and I'm adding it in string, I will I won't get error, but I won't get the right value because it's in string. I will get a random characters. That's a binary characters. So this is not what I want. So what I want is I want to get the actual value of our sum. So right now, I need to check if this thing comes in string. Just as I said, if it comes in string, you won't be able to get the real value of whatever you are summing. So what I need to do to check if these guys are in string, all I need to do, I will console log it, and I'll say make this, I'll say type of type type of. So the type of map map value map value dot total TOT, yes. So now let me see the data type, because if you want to sum something, you don't need to sum in string, you're going to sum in numbers. So let's see what our console will show us. Oh, sorry, I misspelled this. This is, sorry for that. TYPE type of. So then see again. Console log. I know. So now it's saying is a string. You see what I was saying? Is a string. If I add up these things, it will give me that random characters that I said. So this is not what I want. What I want is I want it to, be in numbers. So what I'm gonna do now, thank God I checked it. If I didn't check these things, I'll stay here for God knows when. So now what I'm gonna do is I will create a variable that will sum this thing, that will equate to our total. Yes, I'll say const that will equate our total. Yes. So I'll say let's sum of number equals to 0. So as you can see, we've gotten 0. So with 0, we can use it to equate all that we have inside of total. So I think I have a video of this. If I don't have a video of this, I will check. If I don't have a video of this, I will check and I will do more of this, how to sum in JavaScript and the rest. So what I'm going to do right now, I'll say sum of number. Sum of number. Hope I spelled very well. Okay. Sum of number is plus equals to, remember it is string, so we're gonna make it a number. So what I'm going to use, I can use number, and as I can also use what we call the pass float. So I'm going to use the pass float, and I'll say map value dot total TOTAL. So I'll come to my HTML and I'll say, let me give it an H1 tag. I will say, I'll call this my sum of number. Copy and I'll paste it here. Let me call it subtotal. Total. TOTAL. Subtotal. So now I have my subtotal. Let me save this and see if it's working the way we programmed it. So now, as you can see, we have 14,000 as our doubting Thomas. I know so many of you will take your calculator right now and you start calculating these things. But I'm telling you the truth, the computer, you can do calculations more than the computer that is well programmed. So if you really want to test it, you can go ahead and do your own calculations. No, all right. Now we have gotten this. I want to do something. Let's say the application is owned by one Mr. Only God knows the name, and the person needs to get his own money from whatever the user is buying. So maybe the person puts like I think like there are some um applications that do make payments easy for people. I think they collect percentage from any transactions that that person uh, did or that person does. So what um what the person needs to do is to put his own percentage of whatever that person is buying. It could be 5%, 2%, 10%, depending on the agreement the person has with the user. So I think we should use 10% because I really want to go into pastoring and stuff. So you guys were giving me my 10%. So I love it when I hear 10%. So let me use it here. I will use the 10%. I'll call this const. I'll call it tax. I'll say tax is equals to sum of number. Sorry, sum of number. Because I want to start taking my 10% as a sum of number times 0.1. I can say 0.1. It simply means 0.1. And in case you don't understand what I'm trying to do, how am I going to explain it so that you can understand? You want me to start teaching maths right now, but you're gonna pay for it. What this simply means is I can say let me take this out. I can say my sum of number times since I'm using 10%, I'll say 10 over 100. So it's still the same thing. Like if you're saying 10 over 100, it will give you, do your math, I think it will give you 0.1 and something like that. And if you also want to do the 5%, it will give you 0.05. I think so. Yeah, I'm sure about it. Not I think so. So this is just, but I don't want to leave it like this. Leaving it like this doesn't look I can leave it like this and it will work the same way you understand it. So, but I don't want to do it like this. I just want to do it like this so that it will make my coding very simple when looking at it. So I'll say times um, um 0.1. I just said it right now, so it's a very simple thing you need to know. If I want to use the 5%, I'll say 0.05. Yeah. So this is the 5% of whatever the user is buying. So I'll come here to say copy, then I'll call it tax. TAX tax, then I'll say tax TAX. So it will give me the 5% of 14,000. I think it's 14,700. So it will give me like 700. Yeah. So 14,000 is I think it's 10% of 14,000, 1,400. Yes. So the 5% is 700. So just as I said to you, I love it when it's 10% because I really want to start taking my 10%. So yeah, so I say 0.1. So now we have the 10% of the 14,000, and which is 1,400. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to sum my tax and my sum numbers. I'll say const, then I'll call this should I say total tax? No, total amount UNT is equals to sum of number times or no sorry plus tax. So we have sum of this. We have our total right now. Okay, then let's see. I'll call this total. TOTAL total, then I'll call this total amount inside of give inside of our brackets. So now let's see. So we have the 14,000 plus 1,400. I think is gonna be 15,400. Not I'm sure it's for 15,400. I know some people will be saying, why are you leaving it like this? Style it. In this tutorial, I'm not putting more of styling. If I want to style these things, I'll take it down to the left angle of our applications. So now we have this done. So now what are we going to do right now? We are through with our calculations. Now, I told you before now that we need to, make sure these are in cards, this art cards goes to in cards whenever we have this thing so that it will restrict our user, from, you know, keep posting it. So with that, it will restrict the user. So what are we going to do? I'll come down to my new user. This is where we have it. So I'm still going to do the same way we did for the header image. I'll come to my new user, then I will paste it here. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to map it out. I'll say, let me give it a space. I'll say my data dot map. What name should I give to this guy? I'll say, let me call it value map. Value map. Value map. So, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to return it. I'll say return. It's not working. Okay, I'm going to return I'll make it pass floats because remember it's a string. So what I want to equate it with is a number. So if I equate if I equate number and string, it will give me a wrong value. It won't work. So I'll say pass float. Then I will call this value map. Value map MAP the item ID. We'll call it item ID. So now I have the new market item ID. So let me give it a variable. I'll call it data map. I'll say, okay, let me call this map data. The name sounds similar, so I'm sorry about that. You know, I don't have any names of things anymore. I'm very, very, very tired. I'm just trying to see what the time is. It was 7:35 p.m. So to tell you how I managed my time to, give you this video. And remember, today is Friday. A lot of activities, you know, going on Friday. I shouldn't be here giving you this class, but you need to share my video, please, because I always take out time to do this. So let's continue. So let me log this. I will log my map data. Let's see what we are mapping. I'll say save. It's going to load it right now. See, let me take this off. There you go. You see now we have three IDs inside of here. That's uh objects inside of here. We have 2906 blah 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 534. We have the 869 blah 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 84. We have this one is very long, so it ends with 4 4 and 4. So we are progressing. So what else are we going to do? This is what we want to do. Let me explain. Now we have this three objects inside of our array. So now I want to make sure I compare these things that we have here. As you can see, let me delete this. Let me cancel this. You can see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So anytime we refresh this page, or we will reload the page, I'm talking like a Calabar man right now, sorry about that. Anytime we reload this page, it will, you know, give a signal from our back end, then search or look for where they have a similar number, as in where they have where they have similar characters, then it will, say, okay, this is the same thing with me. So whenever they get to each other, then it will give us the incarts. That's we want to compare. So how we're going to compare in JavaScript? Yes, that's fine. Let me show you something. I'll come here and I'll say, let me call this okay, I'll say, let me call it value data is equals to value dot ID. We call it ID. If you've been following me from the scratch, this is where we have the ID. Let me show you something. As you can see, we call it ID here. So if you're lost, you can go back to my previous videos, then you understand what we are doing here. So right now, let me console log this also. I want to show you something right now. Log value data. Let me paste it here and say I want to show you something right now to show you what we want to do. So once I'm coming, let me inspect it, and I'll go to my console log. Then let's see something. My console log. So as you can see, this is um 4433. As you can see, if you look this and look this, they are not the same thing. Let's see where this and this matches. You see, the matches in this area. You see, in the third um the third object. So as you can see, we have 5, 7, 8, blah 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 blah. So 4, 4. We have it here also. So we want to compare these things right away. So how do we compare in JavaScript? So first, let me remove this console log. I'll call this okay, let me make it easy for you to understand. I'll say array1. Array1 is equals to map data. Map data. Then I'll say array2 comes array2 array2 you can spell it, you can give it you can call it your own. If I use if I just say value data, I'll get a big fat error. The reason is because it's in an array, as you can see from here. It's inside of array, as you can see. So it will give us big fat error. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it back inside of the array. So I will come and say array. So with this, I will get whatever we want to do. So I'll come now to say cons to nsc. I'll say check, call the verb check, then equals to array1 dots. I want to check if they have some values that are equal to each other. That's some elements that are equal to each other. So I'll say some elements that are equal to each other. I'll call it elements here. And what do I want to do? Once they are equal to each other, I want to return this check. TURN. I want to return this check. So I'll say return array2 sorry, array2 dots. What I think it's it includes, so I will include it, then I'll just call it elements. So what else do we want again when you have somebody like George that will be giving you sweet tutorial? And so I'll come here and implement this check here. So I'll say check. Then I'll also call this check. Sorry, I will remove this. CV. Let's check. So once I save it, let's see how page looks like it's compiling. Wow, as you can see now we have the incat, we have the incat here, we have the incat here, we don't have the incat here. This is because we compare rates. So this is I think I'm going to stop here for this video. I'm taking more of the time I'm supposed to use. And in our next video, I'm going to do what we call the association, because this account is owned by Gift. And we have a lot of people that will be using this application. So if I did not associate and Sorry, I'm talking like a Yoruba man right now. If I did not associate what gives buys to our own account, everything will come to the other person's account whenever the person buys, or whatever the person buys, it will come to the person's account. So that is not what we want. So we want to associate whatever the person buys to the person, and whatever gift buys to gift. In our next tutorial, I'm going to do that. So after the next tutorial, I'll do what we call the payment method that we implement the payment method. That's where our user can pay with their credit card. So for now, please, if you've seen this video for the first time, please kindly share, like, and comment. If you've seen it on Facebook, while on YouTube, you can always subscribe. Thank you. I love you guys. Bye-bye.